Hello everyone, TGIF, happy Friday. I wanted to hop on here because I wanted to share some knowledge and tips with you of the 3 things I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. I feel like when I was in my 20s, I had no idea what was going on financially. I was a traveling nurse at age 24. I was making, 70, 80, 90,000 a year. Had no clue what to do with my money. I was in terrible romantic relationships. I was choosing to hang out with the wrong crowd. And a lot of it, I think, had to do with losing my parents when I was young. But these are the top 3 things that I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. So when I was 21, I wish somebody would have sat me down and said, Crystal, let me drop these gems for you. So I actually wrote them down. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm reading notes. Because I don't want to miss anything, because I think this information is so important. And if it can help one person, then I'm good. There may be somebody out there who's struggling and they don't know how to find the answers. Although the internet is good, the internet wasn't really popping 20 years ago, like as far as this type of information. But I just really wish somebody would have sat me down and shared these gems with me. I think I would have been so much more knowledgeable, and I would have been light years ahead now that I'm in my 40s. Now that I'm in my 40s, I feel like I'm catching up. And so I want to share these tips with you. Hi, everyone. Hello. Okay, so tip number 1. Since I was just talking about money and how reckless I used to be with it. I mean, y'all, I used to buy a new car because I didn't like my current car's color. Like, I would flip cars like crazy. It was ridiculous. And I just roll the negative equity right into the next car. Just so uneducated about finances in my 20s. So, number 1 is save and invest your money. Invest it, even if it's 10%, even if it's 5%, even if it's $10 a week. Save something. You can put it into a savings account. Right now, the savings account rates aren't that great. But if you're working, join your retirement plan that your work offers. Try to put in the maximum amount needed in order to have them match. Stay long enough at that job so that you are fully vested. Fully vested means everything that they have given you match-wise is now yours. So sometimes that's 1 year, sometimes that's 3 years, sometimes that's 5 years. Just be knowledgeable. Look at the paperwork, see what it says, right? So invest your money. That way, if you invest when you're in your 20s, it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. But when you're 40 and you look back at how much money you now have saved, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I did that. And you were still able to live life, right? I think so many people get caught up on, well, if I put money away or if I save my money, then I won't have any money to spend. That's where a budget comes in. And for a while, I was really hardcore helping people create budgets. I was creating budgets for them. And then COVID happened and just, that kind of threw me off that plan. But make a budget. Set aside $5, $10, $20 a week and just don't touch it. Don't touch it. I had retirement plans in my 20s, and do you know what I did? I touched them. So then I didn't have another retirement plan until I graduated CRNA school when I was 33. So yeah, that's when I started my retirement plan, was when I was 33. That's better than starting it at 43. That's better than starting it at 53. But still, if I had left that money alone that I initially had started when I was a RN, and when I was a traveler, my traveling company even offered a 401k. If I had just left that money alone in my 20s, I would be in a much different financial situation right now at 41. So I'm going to give you some quick tips. You can invest in dividend growth companies. And so what that means is the company that you're investing in, like let's say you buy stock with McDonald's, right? Or Johnson & Johnson. And I'm not giving any stock tips. I'm just making up names as I go. So you buy, let's say you buy 1 share of stock, right? Those companies will pay you dividends. Usually it's quarterly. And what that means is for every 1 stock you have, whenever they do their books at the end of each quarter, they pay out money. When they pay out that money, that's what a dividend is. Okay, so I have several companies that I invest in that pay out dividends. And what I do is something called the drip method, which means it goes right back into in order to buy more stock. So I don't even touch those dividends. Those dividends are now used to go ahead and buy more stock. So that's what I highly recommend. That's what I've been doing since, like I said, 33 when I restarted my retirement. No, actually it was 35 because when I was 35 is when I started doing locum CRNA and I opened up a self-directed 401k as a 1099 worker. So that's when I really learned more about the stock market. So that's why I want to share that tip with you. You can also invest into some index funds. Index funds are great. They're easy to learn about. They don't cost nearly as much, and you just let that money grow. Don't touch it. Just leave it alone. If the market goes high, if the market goes low, don't touch it. The market's going to come back up. It's going to fluctuate. So many people say buy low, sell high. That is so true. But people freak out when they see the market go low and they have money in there that they've lost. So that's actually a lot of times when you'll hear people say, oh, the stock market is on sale. Literally last week, they were just saying the stock market was on sale on Black Friday. And I grabbed some funds that day because stocks were on sale. And so just leave that money alone. Don't touch it. Just leave it. Another thing is, if you do touch it, you'll be taxed on that. Hello. So put some money away. Don't touch it. That's what I wish somebody would have told me 20 years ago when I was 21 years old. Okay. Second thing. Back on that, and start as soon as possible. If you're 25 right now, if you're 30 right now, and you're like, oh, it's too late. It's not too late. Go ahead and start putting money away, investing your money into some type of mutual fund, index fund, stock. I'm not really going to talk about crypto, but just put some money away, even if it's a savings account. If you're like, Crystal, I don't know anything about the stock market, I'm scared. I have a retirement plan and I just let my hospital or my place of employment handle that. Okay, that's fine. Put some money into a savings account. Check out the different savings account rates, which have dropped drastically since the pandemic. But just have your money growing in some way, because I used to talk a lot about it. I look 21, thank you. Compounding interest. Compounding interest is huge, especially the younger that you are, because you have time on your side, right? So compounding interest just means you put $10 in the bank to save, and let's say the annual percentage that they pay in interest is 1%, right? So they're going to pay 1% of interest for every $10 that you have in their savings account. So at the end of the month, boom, you get that 1% added on to that $10 if you don't put any other money in. So now you have, I don't know, $10.10, something like that. And you didn't do anything. It's the same $10 you started with. Okay, so now you have $10.10, and at the end of this month, they're going to put 1% of interest on top of that $10.10, right? So now, boom, at the end of that month, you have $10 and I don't know, 20 cents. I don't know. I can't do the math off the top of my head, but you see how your money is growing and you haven't put any more into it. So the sooner you start doing that, the younger you start doing that, that money is just going to grow without you having to do anything else. It's called compounding interest, and it is a lovely thing in that aspect. It is not a lovely thing when you owe money, like when you owe student loan money, because that interest compounds as well. So that's going to go in the opposite direction. For every month that you don't pay, let me add this disclaimer, because, President Biden, when the pandemic hit, all the student loans had 0% interest. So your loans are sitting there at the same amount. They are not having interest added on to them. So that does not apply. But if you have private loans, they're adding interest. Trust me, every day they're adding interest. So for every month that you do not pay your student loans, take it from me. I did it, y'all. I did it. I regret it. Don't do what I did. I was like, nobody pays off their student loans. I'm not going to touch it. And that interest just piled up on top of it. For every $100,000 that I didn't pay, interest was being piled up every single day. So if you can avoid doing that, don't do that. All right. But in the other sense, if you can put some money away, compounding interest is on your side. Okay. Let's see, what else did I want to add? Make sure when you're putting money away, you diversify. So you may have some money in stocks. You may have some money in, like I said, index funds. You may have money in your savings account. You may invest in crypto. You may invest in real estate. Real estate is a wonderful investment to get into, especially land. I'm actually looking at starting to buy land, because as far as I know, God's not making any more land. Okay. And that's actually what, did y'all ever see the movie The Founder? Not Michael J. Fox, Michael Keaton played in, and it's about McDonald's and why McDonald's is as important as it is. It has nothing to do with their burgers or their special sauce. McDonald's is important because of the real estate that McDonald's sits on. So I highly recommend that movie if you've never watched it before. Maybe I'll watch it tonight again. Actually, it's been a few years since I saw it. It's called The Founder. And you'll be amazed you saw a part of that. Go back and watch the whole thing. You'll be amazed at how much you can learn just by the way he did it. Because also the owners of McDonald's, they were not the original McDonald's brothers. So the McDonald's brothers ended up losing like their family name. Essentially, the ones who invented the burgers were two brothers. And this guy comes in, starts taking their stuff. Watch it, y'all. Watch the movie, The Founder. It's so good. All right. So diversify, start early, reinvest your dividends. Those are all things that I wish 21-year-old Crystal knew, or at least somebody had told me, and then I could go and expound on my knowledge that they dropped me. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody was talking about this with me. The second thing that I wish somebody had sat down with me and said is to envision your future self. Okay. And so what does that mean? That means, where do you see yourself in 1 year? Where do you see yourself in 6 months? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 15 years? Sit down, quiet your mind, quiet your surroundings, even if it's only for a couple minutes each day. Close your eyes and really start to envision yourself walking in your destiny. Nobody told me about this. I actually didn't think that I would make it to this age. I had no vision of me in my 40s at all. I was like, I don't even know what that looks like. And I think a lot of my stuff was because I was in such a dark space in my 20s. I was very depressed. It was a very dark time for me. There was a lot of times I didn't feel like I wanted to be here. I'm just being completely honest. I had a lot of loss in my 20s. I had a lot of tragedies happen with my brother dying and my mother dying and my father dying. And so I was in a very dark space. So if you were like, Crystal, envision your future self, I did not know what that meant. I couldn't have even brought that to the forefront of my brain. And so what I want to challenge you to do is to sit, close your eyes, if you want to put some soft music on, and just think about yourself in the future. What does that look like? If you're somebody who wants to be a nurse, what does you being a nurse look like? What type of ICU are you working in? Or wherever you want to work. A lot of my followers are CRNAs, so that's why I talk about CRNA stuff. But envision yourself. If you want to be a business owner, that's all I do now, is envision myself as the business owner that I currently am, because I've done the CRNA thing. So 21-year-old Crystal, I was sad. I was depressed from my mom dying. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm able to share and be transparent with y'all, because it hasn't always been this way for me. So I'm very grateful that I am at this point in my life. So if this message and being transparent helps someone, then I'm all for it. But, 21-year-old Crystal, I was very sad because my mother had died. But I would have still sat down and told her, close your eyes, relax, listen to your heart. How do you see yourself next year? And I would have kept doing that with 21-year-old Crystal until an image finally occurred in her mind, until she finally brought forth what a future Crystal could look like. Okay, and then we would have gone on to 3 years and 5 years and 10 years. I do that every morning now as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, because I own a vitamin supplement line. I'm coaching. How do I want to show up more so that my future self looks like how I envision? So really try to envision where is you see yourself. That in and of itself, I think, will shoot you light years ahead, because we all know what we think ends up coming true. And so if you think of yourself in a negative light, or you think, I'll never get there, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too fat, I'm too black, I'm too white, whatever you think, that's what's going to manifest, right? So really step into thinking positive thoughts about yourself, really envision where it is that you desire to be, and watch as your entire world just shifts into that direction. Don't try to control it. That's when God laughs at our plans, right? When we try to tell God or the universe, whatever your source is that you believe, when we try to tell them how it's supposed to go, that's when they're like, okay, bet. You don't have to control it. Just let it go. Let it flow. Let it come naturally to you. But really envision where it is you want to be. If you want to be a CRNA, envision yourself walking into the operating room. Envision yourself, giving the patients their medication, taking great care of your patients, waking them up successfully. Do all of those things, okay? Because what we put in our mind shows up in our life. So, okay. And also write those things down. I'm a pen and paper. Like I was saying, I got notebooks. I said this yesterday. I got notebooks laying everywhere. If you ever come to my house, you would be like, what in the world? What are all these notebooks? I got notebooks everywhere, but I know what's in each one. I have a system. Okay, I got notebooks. I got calendars, but I write stuff down. Like, look, I got papers just with notes. So be specific. Yeah, a lot of people are pen and paper. Like, I'll do some stuff on the computer, but there's something about taking a pen, right? This pen says Superscript Wellness, which is my business, my gummy line. Thank you, Leandra, for your purchase. I'm sorry about that, girl. I'm sorry I didn't see that message, but I'm glad that you and your daughter got your gummies. Make sure y'all order some more. The hair gummies, honestly, I have to lock the hair gummies away because they're so good. They're so good. They're even better than the immune support gummies, which are freaking delicious too. But I love the hair gummies. I'm like, oh my God, it's like candy. So check out superscriptwellness.com, get your gummies. But anyway, I'm a pen to paper kind of woman, and there's just something about it when you're in that positive mind space. You're envisioning where it is you're we don't use the word try, but you're envisioning where you're going. You're envisioning what you want to show up as. You're envisioning who you are becoming. Write it down. Be specific. The universe, God, source, energy, they're always listening. They're always listening. Y'all think Y'all think Siri's not always listening? I don't want to say her name too loud because she's going to start talking in the background. Siri's always listening. So what makes you think the universe isn't? Always listening. And so write it down. Be specific. Use positive affirmations. Use positive words. I will become a awesome ICU nurse. I will become a awesome CRNA. I will become whatever an amazing businesswoman, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a coach, all of those things. I do this with myself, okay? Every day. Everything I'm telling you, I do. I would not be telling you to do something if I don't do it. So really be specific with what it is that you are moving towards, okay? Don't write down what you don't want. Always keep it in the positive. Always write down what you do want, okay? So, again, that's what I would tell 21-year-old Crystal. All right, next. Yes, something about pen and paper. I have my journals from when I was 15 years old. I started journaling. I wish I had started earlier, but I feel like there's a reason why I started at 15. And over this summer, I went back, I found all my journals, and I reread them as present day Crystal. And I really feel like if that's something that you have, like if you have old journals, go back and reread them when you're ready. Some of the stuff you may not be ready to reread. Some of the stuff you may have forgotten. But when I reread my journals, I was like, oh my gosh, you poor thing. I want to go back to that 15-year-old and just like hug her. I was just a mess, y'all. Lord Jesus. But a lot of my stuff was stuff from childhood. And it was showing up in my teenage life. And I was just a very, very sad and mopey teenager. And then as a teenager, you also have all these hormone shifts. And, you know, you got boys or girls or whatever you like. And I was just a mess in my teenage years. So I've been writing stuff down for years. And so I feel like it's also good to go back and look at the stuff that you do write. Because if you're writing something now for the future, saying in 6 months I'm going to take my CCRN. In 1 year I will apply to 5 CRNA programs or 5 ICU jobs. Go back and reread it. See what it is that you've accomplished. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at just how much of the things that you write down actually come true. Okay, next. I need another notebook. This one about had it. The last thing I want to share with you. Be mindful of who you let into your space. Okay. Be mindful of who you let into your body, women. Be mindful of who you hang around with. Be mindful of who you have in your home. Be mindful of who you date. All of those other people in your life their energy is going to be passed on to you. So, again, 21-year-old Crystal. 21-year-old Crystal mostly hung with her boyfriend. I didn't really have friends. 26, 27, 28-year-old Crystal got with the wrong crowd. I started hanging with, I won't say the wrong crowd because it definitely, I learned some lessons. But I wanted that sense of friendship. I wanted that sense of belonging so bad. I was so very lonely that I started hanging out with not the utmost standing citizens. And I look back and I want you to be mindful of who you have in your surroundings and who you have in your space, who you're dating, who you're talking to. Because if they're a person who has negative energy, negative vibes, bad intentions, that is going to leak onto you. I used to love a bad boy. Oh yes, sign me up. Where do I get one? Bad boys don't want good things for you. That's why they're bad boys. And so I dated, I dated the same man, just in a different skin over and over and over again, wondering why I wasn't getting different results. Like, why is he like this? Girl, it's the same dude, just in a different body. So be mindful of, I know, I'm not like that anymore. So be mindful of who you have in your home. Who you allow in your home. Not everybody has good intentions coming into your home. Be mindful of who you have around your children if you have children. Not everybody has good intentions. So, and when you feel a vibe, this is a bonus, because I didn't even write this one down. This just came to me. When you feel a vibe about someone, trust it. Don't try to, no, maybe what I'm feeling isn't right, or they seemed okay. Maybe that was just a fluke. Trust your vibe. Trust your first instinct. Trust your intuition, okay? Because your heart will never lie to you. Your brain will. That brain will be like, girl, no. Remember how he looked in those gray sweatpants, though? Nope. Don't trust the brain. Listen to your heart. Your heart is going to tell you. So if you get that feeling in your belly, like my belly would alert me. They say the belly is the second brain, or what do they say? The seventh Lord, what I'm trying to say. They say your brain, your belly is also your intuition. Like, that's why people have gut feelings. Yes, don't try to paint red flags white. Woo, I like that. I'm going to write that down. Hold on. That might be another live. To paint red flags white. Yes. Don't do it. Don't do it. Trust your gut. Trust your intuition. Leave them alone, honey. If they showed you how they are, what Maya Angelou say, believe them the first time. You don't need 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 tries, okay? Believe your gut. Leave them alone. I don't care if that means you're lonely. I don't care if that means you now have to spend the holidays alone. Pick up a shift at work. Do something, but trust the red flags. That's why they're red flags. Don't try to paint them white. It's going to turn pink anyway if you put white over red, but just trust your vibes, okay? Because your gut knows. It knows. It can sense those vibrations off that other person like that. And so I don't care how good he look in those gray sweatpants, or how good she looks in that crop top or whatever. Trust your gut, okay? These people, they on an energetic level, they don't mean you good. And the longer that you surround yourself with those types of people, the longer it will take you to get to your next level, whatever that next level may be. So that's why you hear about, like famous people losing all their money, or y'all probably don't know who MC Hammer is because y'all are young, but MC Hammer, he brought his whole family, his whole friends, on board when he hit success, and he went bankrupt. Okay, so be mindful of your circle. Be very mindful of my circle right now. It don't even form a complete circle because it's so small. So just focus on you. Have good people around you. If you get a bad vibe about somebody, cut it. Block. My block game is so strong right now. Blockity, block, block, block. Block them. Blocking didn't exist 20 years ago. Hell, cell phones barely existed 20 years ago. Like, they did, but you really didn't turn them on until after 7 p.m. So me going back to 21-year-old Crystal talking about block them, girl. 21-year-old Crystal would be like, what are you talking about? So now block them if they if they don't have good intentions for you. block, okay? Protect yourself, protect your heart, protect your body. Ladies and gentlemen, but ladies, be careful of who you let up in you. Be careful of who you lay next to. Be careful of who you share yourself with, okay? Men, same thing. Be mindful of that. I'm talking to the ladies because, you know, a lot of my followers are ladies, but men too. Some of these ladies don't have your best interests at heart either. So be careful who you lay up with. Okay? That's definitely what I would tell 21-year-old Crystal. So, I hope this helps. I feel like I just went off on like a total tangent. But I felt like somebody needed to hear this. So I was like, let me get on live. I'm in my pajamas. I don't even have on regular clothes right now, but I was like, somebody needs to hear this message. So I'm going to leave this live up here so others can see it for the future. Like I said, superscript, get you some gummies. Sleeping with the enemy, yes. Listen, some of these people that you are sleeping with or letting lay up with you, they want help. They're not looking for love. They want help. They want a warm place for the winter. And just wait until the spring. Once the snow starts melting, we'll see what's gonna happen. They're gonna be gone. I should come on more. You know what? I come on early in the mornings usually, but Instagram has been censoring a lot of my stuff and not sharing with my followers that I am live. So I am trying to show up and be more present now. Let y'all know who I am, what I'm about, what message I have for you. And so this one got on my heart today on this lovely Friday, and I had to share it with you. So I hope these pointers help. And yeah, that's all I got for y'all. I'll come on again tomorrow. I'll see what message the universe sends me tomorrow. If you want to sign up with me for coaching, book now in my profile, and let's talk. Let's do a complimentary one-on-one call, and let's see if I can help you. And if you want some delicious gummy vitamins, superscriptwellness.com. Yes, a warm place for the winter, like it's hibernation. Exactly. Y'all, don't fall for the okie doke. Don't. Get you some dogs. My dogs keep me plenty warm. All right, y'all. Well, have a great rest of your Friday. I'm going to go put some real clothes on and do some grocery shopping. So, hope this message helps someone, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.